is Fira Ekohini, and I'm a 5th semester student majoring in English education at UNHAS Jember. Despite my identity as an English education student, I come from the Javanese ethnicity, specifically from East Java. So in this video, I'm going to explain my cultural background and how it relates to my journey as an English education student. First, let me explain my cultural background. I was born in the easternmost part of Java, precisely in Banyuwangi. Both of my parents also belong to the Javanese ethnicity. My father is from Banyuwangi and my mother is from Kediri. Even though both of my parents are Javanese, there are still a slight differences between them. The most noticeable difference is the accent or distinctive way of speaking from both regions. Additionally, there are also some vocabulary differences. For a little example, in Banyuwangi, muleh means go home, but in Kediri, they say manto for saying go home. Since I live in my father's region, my everyday language tends to use the Banyuwangi Javanese accent when I'm communicating with my family members. However, when I visit my grandmother's house and relatives from my mother's side, in Kediri, my accent changes to match the local dialect. Now let's talk about Indonesian and English. I started learning Indonesian when I was in kindergarten, just before entering elementary school, and continued through high school. I used Indonesian to understand textbooks and during the learning process. The first time I became interested in learning English was when I was in elementary school, specifically at the age of 9, when my aunt first taught me how to count in English. That sparked my interest in English and it grew as I matured, eventually leading me to become an English education student at UNHAS Jember. With my status as an English student, I have to be able to speak English. But in reality, I only speak English in the classroom with my classmates. Outside of class, I use Indonesian or Javanese to communicate. The transition between these three languages based on our surroundings is a sign of the essence of language, culture, and society. Now, regarding my culture and identity as a Javanese. Culture is a way of life that develops and is shared by a group of people passed down from generation to generation. In Indonesia, every ethnic group has its own diverse and rich culture, including Javanese culture. As someone who identifies as Javanese, it's important to showcase and take pride in my culture. Javanese culture includes various traditions, regional cuisine, traditional dances, and traditional attire that represent the uniqueness and characteristics of Javanese culture. Among these, traditional clothing is what I believe best represents Javanese culture. Why is that so? Because when people wear traditional clothing, in this case Japanese traditional clothing, it will immediately trigger someone's thoughts and assume that the person wearing traditional clothing is a part of a certain ethnicity. One of the most famous traditional clothing icons of the Javanese people are kebaya and batik. Kebaya is an upper garment that is characterized by its open front and is made traditionally. It symbolizes simplicity, grace, gentleness, and the resilience of Indonesian women. Besides kebaya, batik, which I'm wearing right now, is also an iconic Japanese traditional clothing. Batik is a fabric painted using wax with a tool called canting, and with wax and canting, artisans create intricate designs on the fabric, making it highly valuable. For me, wearing a kebaya or batik is an effort to preserve my culture and a way to proudly embrace my Javanese culture. By wearing cultural attributes, we express our identity as members of a particular ethnic group. So, be proud of who you are and showcase your identity by using and displaying your own culture. Well, that's all from me. Thank you.